Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
Okay, so you like the dark purple in the ears?
and like the eye, like.
Okay, and then
the gem.
What else?
The gem in the middle, kind of like that red, so I kind of want like pieces of red in there.
Okay, do you want the purple to be like all over?
Yeah, like full on purple.
Okay, so like everything purple and then just bangs.
Yeah, some like red pieces in the bangs.
Okay. When was the last time we did your roots?
September.
September. How many months is that? That's like
6 months ago.
Oh wow.
I think September.
Yeah.
Maybe March. Oh, yeah. 5 months.
The last color we did was red. Or
First
you-
we did that like purple, and then I came to do a hair model, so you did just color. It was like an orange red with that rainbow.
Okay.
For the little photo shoot.
Yeah. So it's just kind of.
And then did you refresh it at all with
I
anything?
did do red, a refresher.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, we are going to be making her purple with some accents of some red, and we're going to be lightening up her roots and then putting on some creative color on this transformation. But before I go in and lighten her, I always like to dust the ends, or if we're going to be cutting off quite a bit of length, I do like to trim that part up first so that I don't waste any color, and it just gives me a good visual of where the color is going to lay. And then once I pretty much do that, I do always finish a haircut once it's dry and blow dried and once the color is completely done, because I always like to cross check at the very end to make sure everything is completely perfect and the color and the cut goes hand in hand and matches well together. So it's been a while since my client has gotten bangs, and she always parts her hair in the middle, so we are going to help train the middle part to go in the front once we're done with her color. But right now I'm just creating an outline to give her that wispy bang look, so it kind of frames her face around and just looks really soft. I don't want to make anything that looks too blunt, and just going little by little. I like to do this before the color because I want to make sure that when I am doing her creative color that everything looks good and my sectioning and all of that is well blended and put together and goes with the length of her hair. So for this transformation, I'm going to be using the Danger Jones powder lightener. This powder lightener you guys have been hearing on my channel lately is worked wonders on all of my clients. I feel like it works great for pretty much all hair types and all types of blonding needs. I feel like it's the perfect go-to lightener for literally anything, and my favorite way to use it is in foils. So when I'm doing a highlight, when I'm doing a foliage, I feel like it's perfect, whether the client is like a level 1 or like has previous color on their ends. It really does wonders, and I feel like it is a very strong lightener, but it does have some bonder in there, so it gives a little bit of safety protection as far as when you're lightening the hair. So when I'm doing this technique for her, we pretty much do the exact same placement every single time, regardless of how long she waits in between her appointments. I will do the same sectioning, and for this look I do a detail weave around the hairline and then take a center section of doing slices all the way up. And the reason why we're doing slices is because she wants the effect of feeling like a solid blonde, and really the only way you're gonna get the most impact and fullness of your highlights and sectioning is to do slices. If your client is wanting to do something more dimensional, I would start weaving, but for her, she likes a pretty bold look. She wants to see more blonde in color than her natural, so we're going in and going to be doing her slices all over her head, and even in her fringe area. I'll show you then how I do those slices later on. But right now, what I'm doing is taking thin slices up the center section of her head. And the reason why I'm just doing one center section in the back, because I feel like it saves a lot of time compared to splitting this part into two, because you can easily connect those sides all in one go when you do hit the sides later on. And so when I'm doing my slices too, you can notice in our consultation she let me know that she did apply some red in her hair before, which is totally fine as long as it's not like a permanent red or like a red that is going to stain her hair really bad. I've never really had an issue with any of the colors that she's done herself at home, so I've never really said anything to her to stop using them. I feel like she uses pretty decent brands on her hair at home. I think this one might have been like Lunar Tide, she said. But anyways, she said that she used a pretty dark, vibrant red. And she's naturally like a level 7. And so a level 7, if you're using a really vibrant, semi-permanent color, it has a ton of pigment. It does have the possibility of coloring the natural hair, and so you kind of have to be a little bit careful. And when I was weaving her, you can kind of see her root where her virgin is looks slightly different from the virgin hair technically that she painted the semi-permanent on. And I feel like the semi-permanent might have stained her natural in between. And so later on, I didn't really get a clip of it, but sometimes when that happens, it can lift a little funky. And by funky, I mean that hair that has the stained areas of where she put the darker semi-permanent, it lifted up pink compared to her virgin root that had no stain from the semi-permanent. And that's very common. I immediately could guess that it was going to do that because as I was weaving her, I could definitely see the difference between her virgin and then the virgin that had semi-permanent stain on it. And I just let her know as I was going through and foiling her that, you know, maybe this might lift a little funky because the semi-permanent that you use was just really dark, and, you know, she was totally fine with it. She already has various of different colors in her hair, and today we're going to be doing like a darker purple anyways, so pink kind of lives in that realm of purple, and so it was going to be fine. But let's say you had a client that wanted to be like platinum blonde from where this client is. That is something definitely I would have spoken to her about in the consultation prior to even taking her and starting. So yeah, just a thought to consider if you're doing a consultation and your client is, I would say, like a level 7 and lighter, and you do see slight difference in their virgin hair, to be careful with that, because I do know there are some semi-permanent brands out there that I've seen that clients have used, and when you put bleach on it, they immediately lift like hot pink. And if a client is staying like a creative color, then it's fine, you can like work with it. But if a client is wanting to be blonde, it can be very problematic, and it's just better to mention the possibility of that even happening before you even start the client, so that they know and they kind of prepare themselves. Because I feel like as hairdressers, it's our job to educate our clients of not every, but like almost most possibilities that could be happening to their hair during the process of what we're doing. So it kind of shows that we know what we're doing, we know what to expect, and we know how to handle it. And it kind of gains trust and with your client too. Like when I do have clients who come in for color corrections and stuff, I will literally name out the like maybe top 3 to 5 ways their hair could go if I start lightening them, if I've never done their hair before or I'm not sure how it's going to lift, so that they know what to expect. Because I feel like the biggest thing with a client is if you do something to their hair that's totally unexpected and they don't love it, then they kind of lose trust in you. Like like in trust in what you're saying and what you're doing, but as long as you let them know what's going on beforehand and what could be done and what to expect, and it kind of falls right where you say it would, then they kind of see you as you know what you're talking about, and you did fairly warn me about the possibilities, and you really do gain their trust in that. And it really shows that you know what you're talking about and know what you're doing, and if there was ever a problem, that you knew how to solve it immediately. And I feel like for me, a lot of my clients fully trust me because they know that I always create very valid expectations for them and let them know that what their options are, even though sometimes it can be limiting. And at a certain point, some of my regulars, they kind of just stop caring. For me at least, they just they sit in my chair and they're just like, just do whatever you think would look best and what's gonna fade best and what you think I will like. And it's just that building that trust part is just really important, especially when you have a brand new client in your chair. And I feel like I do that with majority of my clients, and I feel like it's been pretty successful lately to gain your clients' trust in that way by doing a very thorough consultation where you explain all their options and paths that they could possibly take and the outcomes of each one, and then have them choose with you what might be best for them. So real quick, going back to the technique, I finished that center section that we did in the back, pulled it all the way towards the front. The very first weave I did around her fringe was like a weave, and then after that I just pretty much sliced her fringe to match all the way back to that center parting. I did 2 slices on the very side to connect that fringe area with the sides in the back, did a weave above her ear, and now I'm going in right now and doing slices up the side to connect everything. And notice how I'm going through and just really trying to pick out the sections that have the longest part of dark growth. I feel like this is a way better angle. You can definitely see her virgin where it's less warm, and then parts of the dark that I am painting into, it did get stained from that red that she must have done at some point in time, and it just really stained her natural color. And so again, when we were checking her foils, those areas that were a little bit warmer that were stained from the semi-permanent, it was lifting pretty pink. And maybe when we blow dry her before the semi, you guys can probably see it, but sometimes the case is, sometimes it will wash out when you wash out the bleach, but other times it doesn't completely wash out. It really just depends on their hair, what color they used, and all of that. I feel like it's different for everybody. So you can tell them that the possibility, like, hey, you know, those areas might have stained a little weird, and so they might lift your hair a little weird, and this is kind of where we have to pivot depending on how those areas lift. Thankfully, she is doing a really dark purple, so no matter how vibrant those areas lift up anyways, it's not going to really hurt her color in any way. If anything, it will just add a little warmer pigment in those areas. But yeah, so now we're going in and I'm going to be pulling out her foils. I wanted to lift her to about a level 9 and 10 because I always love that when her colors fade out really pastel-y and she's able to do a bunch of different colors. So I always like to lift her pretty light. She never really has a problem. Her hair stays healthy. She takes really good care of it. So we just keep doing what works for us, and I feel like it's been going really great so far. So why change it if something is working, right? So as I'm going in, as I wash her creative color tone, a lot of the times when she comes in, she always has a pretty vibrant faded tone. It's never blonde. She never comes in a perfect blonde because we always do a really bright color and then she refreshes the color at home. But you know, this part when we're rinsing out her foils and all of this, somehow the bleach does kind of wash away the semi-permanent that she does have on her hair, and it does create a lighter blonde for her, which does in the long run when we dry her and stuff help. And here in this clip you can see a lot of that semi-permanent actually came out. You can see the roots look beautifully blonde, and a lot of that faded red and copper that she had in her hair actually came out. So this is going to be a really great canvas for the colors that we're doing. Right now what I'm doing is I'm sectioning out the pieces that we're going to be doing red, and then the pieces that we're going to be doing that purple. So you saw in our consultation, we are going to be doing like a purple with like some accents of red to kind of match that Pokemon that she showed me earlier, which is, I believe the Pokemon's name is Espeon, which is a really cute Pokemon that has a lot of purple. She wanted to take the purple, more deeper side of the purple from it because she knows that the purple is going to fade, but she wanted to keep that red gem jewel, that vibrant red. So we are going in with the Danger Jones semi-permanent color line, and for the red I'm going to be using Diablo, and then for the purple I'm just going to be using Libertine because she wanted something that was going to be a more blue based purple. You know, in our consultation, she originally just wanted the bangs to be red, but you know, as I was sectioning it, I thought it would look a little bit weird if we only did the bangs, so I suggested we add just like a few little side slivers to kind of connect everything together. And at the end, we loved the end result and how well it made everything blend in together. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. The lighting in my suite wasn't the best. I'm still trying to figure this out because the sun had already set and it was dark, but you can see how beautiful that purple goes with the red that's in her hair. I absolutely loved it, and considering how many different tones she had in her hair, I feel like it looks pretty even. And look how cool the bangs look. I feel like the red on the sides and just like peekabooing through the bangs was just perfect. So for the bang placement, I pretty much just like sliced or cut the bangs in half, and just visually when I was sectioning it, saw how much would look good as far as it being red on the bottom and then how much purple on top. And I feel like it came out really well, and I was really happy with the placement on this one. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.